Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Great Reset. My name is Robert Brill. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of brillmedia.co, and we're a marketing and advertising firm. The main thing that we do is drive leads and sales for advertisers who want to scale up their business. Whether you're a solopreneur or a massive organization, we work with some really interesting brands across the board. And one of the key things that's part of the success of our business is a real big focus on process. And when I talk about process, I really mean what are the exact steps and actions that people take in order to succeed. And one of the challenges with my business in the past is that as we grew, my concern, what I was facing is that people weren't doing the work that I needed them to do. And I was wondering why. Like, I was hiring really smart people who I had worked with in the past, who I'd known they were smart. I know they were effective. I knew they were leaders in business in various advertising and marketing firms. Why are they having trouble? Why are they not liking the job? What were the concerns that people were having? And finally, I had to literally go through a few people and finally hire who is now our Chief Operating Officer, Tony Price. And what he taught me is the power of process. And process is about a few different things: defining swim lanes, creating a specific task list for people, and really the overall setup of giving people an opportunity to win as they create good work for your organization. So what does that mean? Having a standard operating procedure. And our standard operating procedure is a series of documents that lives in a OneNote, where it defines every single step that a person needs to take in order to be successful with an advertising campaign or setting up a marketing campaign. From everything from the sales process, when the process is handed off, when the salesperson hands off to an internal team member what they need to be doing, how to set up the campaigns, the types of documents that need to be set up, onto the campaign optimization during launch, during a potentially plateau period, and then the finalization of the campaign. So every step of the way, this document defines exactly what any ad buyer or supervisor needs to be doing in order to be successful for that particular campaign. Now, it doesn't substitute for knowledge, right? Like, you need to know how to be an effective ad buyer. You need to understand the goals of the client. You need to understand the larger mechanics of how our business operates. But what it does, so it doesn't substitute for experience, but what it does is it creates an opportunity for internal team members to know on any given day, on any given project, the exact work that they need to be doing in order to be successful. It's hard to understate how important this focus on process has been. In fact, it fundamentally changed our organization because of the great work that Tony Price, as Chief Operating Officer, has done for our business. The second part of process, to me, is about enforcing it. And enforcing it is really about repeated behavior, right? So once you have a standard operating procedure in place, ensuring that the team members at every level of the organization understand what the standard operating procedure is, and then it gets enforced. And what we find within our organization is when those process points don't get followed, there's a greater opportunity for things to fall out of the standard norms for our organization. And that's when we need to set up and regroup and say, okay, the process that we have in place hasn't been followed on this one or two initiatives, so let's get it back into place. And that may be hiring more people, or changing roles, or promoting people, whatever the case might be, but really understanding when we are out of the standard operating procedure so we can get back into it as quickly as possible. And to me, the standard operating procedure and really this focus on process is about setting up the internal constituents within an organization to win. So if everything lives in my head, that's good. If I'm a one-man shop, or if I'm a two-person shop, or even a three-person shop, I can delegate and direct different people to do different things, which was good for us in the early days. But when you get to more than what my experience has been, three people, the challenge is I may give direction, but the folks who are the recipients of that direction don't actually have the context to be able to effectively handle that direction, even if you're an extremely talented supervisor or an ad buyer or whatnot. So I think I'm hypersensitive anytime within my organization something falls outside of what we want our service levels to be. I'm hyper focused on that, and maybe to the annoyance of the senior leadership of our business, I really underscore that when there's something that gets promised and we deliver it a few hours late or a day late, etc. It's really about the process that led us to the point that we didn't deliver something on time. Now, with all that being said, we still have campaigns that do exceptionally well. We still have clients that renew. But to me, there's a never-ending focus on operations and process that can always be refined, that can always look better, that can always be streamlined. And every so often that changes when you hire more individuals on the team, or you, as in the case with Spot On Marketing, we're creating completely different offerings for different types of clients. There's more repetition, there's more there's a higher volume of clients, and ultimately it's a different set of services because we're including a little bit of creative services in that mix. So a lot of the way I manage is I really focus and wonder, okay, what led up to a certain situation, either really good or really bad, and what were the steps that took place that led to that point, and how can our process be either learned from because we did something really well, we got to replicate it, or how can that process be improved because we dropped the ball somewhere. So I'm really interested in process as I manage and look at the organization as a whole. And then on the flip side of that is having someone like Tony Price, our COO, who is dedicated to enforcing that process, because that's the process that our organization has agreed to that we need to win. And so now as we build with Spot On Marketing with new clients, we're in that same place where we're creating a different set of processes because it's a different product and a different set of systems. So a big part of how I think about management is really, what's the process? Is it being adhered to? If something fails, it's probably not because we don't have talented people. It's not because we're not good at what we do. It's not because the client did something wrong. It's probably because the process that we have in place either wasn't followed, or even worse, we don't have a process, so we need to create one to make the whole system better. So there we go. Those are my thoughts on process in our organization. That's it for this episode of The Great Reset. I hope you found this enjoyable and helpful. Please subscribe if you want to get more insights on marketing and advertising and management from our YouTube channel. And if you need help with generating leads for your business, we are very effective at lead generation for independent small businesses with our Spot On Marketing service, which is $1,500 a month. Everything done for you after a 1-hour strategy conversation, and it really turns into really big business changing opportunities for our clients. That's it for this episode of The Great Reset. We'll see you soon on another episode of The Great Reset.